When people talk about cursed movies, one title always rises to the top of the conversation: Poltergeist. On the surface, it was just a horror film from the 1980s, a supernatural story about a suburban family tormented by malevolent spirits. But over time, the movie became infamous for something far darker: the tragic and eerie real-life events that seemed to plague its cast and crew. From sudden deaths to bizarre accidents and unsettling rumors of real skeletons being used on set, Poltergeist went beyond fiction. It became one of Hollywood's most enduring legends of a cursed production. Today, we'll unravel the chilling history of the Poltergeist trilogy, diving deep into the strange and tragic stories that forever linked the franchise with whispers of the supernatural. Was it simply a series of coincidences, or did the filmmakers accidentally invite real darkness into their lives? In 1982, Steven Spielberg and director Tobe Hooper unleashed Poltergeist upon the world. Unlike many horror movies of its time, this film stood out because it didn't rely on grimy, underground scares. Instead, it told the story of a picture-perfect suburban family whose lives were suddenly torn apart by forces they couldn't understand. The film's eerie tagline, "They're here," and the image of young Carol, and played by Heather O'Rourke, pressing her hands against a static-filled TV screen, became instantly iconic. The movie was a massive hit, grossing over $100 million worldwide. Critics praised it for its blend of family drama and supernatural terror, and audiences couldn't get enough. What many didn't realize at the time, though, was that this movie would later become infamous, not for its groundbreaking effects or gripping story, but for what came after. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that the production was steeped in eerie decisions. The most infamous claim was that the filmmakers used real human skeletons during the film's climactic pool scene because they were cheaper than plastic replicas. Actress JoBeth Williams, who played the mother Diane, later confirmed she had to thrash around in muddy water with corpses, and she was told only after filming that they were allegedly real. Whether true or exaggerated, that story planted the first seed of the Poltergeist Curse legend. The first and most devastating tragedy to hit the Poltergeist family came just months after the release of the original film. Dominique Dunne, who played the eldest daughter Dana Freeling, seemed poised for stardom. She was only 22 years old, beautiful, and talented. But in October 1982, her life came to a horrifying and violent end. Dunn had been in an abusive relationship with a man named John Thomas Sweeney, a chef. After she broke things off, he showed up at her home in Los Angeles and attacked her in the driveway. He strangled her, leaving her brain dead. After 5 days on life support, she was removed from the machines, and Hollywood lost one of its brightest rising stars. The brutality of her death shocked the world, and for many, it was the first chilling sign that something about Poltergeist was not quite right. Fans and tabloids began whispering that Dominique's death was the beginning of the so-called curse. If Dominique Dunne's death was the beginning, then Heather O'Rourke's death cemented the Poltergeist curse in public imagination. Heather, with her bright blonde hair and innocent face, was the heart of the series. Her role as Carol and made her the face of Poltergeist, and her line "They're here" was burned into pop culture forever. Tragically, her life would also be cut short in circumstances that only fueled the curse legend. In 1987, while filming Poltergeist 3, Heather became seriously ill. Doctors initially misdiagnosed her condition as Crohn's disease. In reality, she had a severe intestinal problem, a congenital narrowing of her intestines. On February 1, 1988, she suddenly went into cardiac arrest caused by septic shock. Despite being rushed into surgery, she passed away at just 12 years old. Her death was devastating not only for her family, but for millions of fans. The idea that the young star of a movie about ghosts could die so suddenly and tragically added an eerie weight to the whispers of a curse. Heather's image, forever preserved as the innocent child staring at a glowing television, became haunting in a way no one had intended. It wasn't just the young stars of the franchise who faced tragedy. Other cast members also met untimely ends, adding to the aura of the curse. Julian Beck, who played the terrifying preacher Cain in Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, died in 1985 at age 60. He had been battling stomach cancer, and though his illness was known during production, his gaunt appearance in the film became chilling when viewed through the lens of his imminent death. Fans later said his performance felt too real, too close to death itself. Then there was Will Sampson, a Native American actor known for his role in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He played the shaman Taylor in Poltergeist 2. Sampson died in 1987 from complications during heart-lung transplant surgery. Some say Sampson, who was also a spiritual healer, even performed a cleansing ritual on the Poltergeist 2 set to rid it of negative energy. The irony that he himself would pass away not long after only deepened the lore. By this point, the Poltergeist franchise had a trail of tragic deaths connected to it, young and old, sudden and slow. Each one added a new layer to the supposed curse. It wasn't just deaths that fed the legend. Stories from the set of bizarre accidents and paranormal activity only made things creepier. Actors and crew members spoke of unexplained equipment malfunctions, strange feelings of being watched, and chilling coincidences. JoBeth Williams once recalled that every night she returned home from filming, she found pictures on her wall mysteriously crooked, no matter how many times she straightened them. The most notorious claim remained the use of real skeletons in the first movie. While some crew members later confirmed this, others dismissed it as Hollywood exaggeration. But the idea that the filmmakers may have literally surrounded their actors with the dead became central to the curse's mythology. By the time Poltergeist 3 was released in 1988, the curse narrative was in full swing. Heather O'Rourke's death overshadowed the entire film, leaving audiences uneasy about watching it. The movie itself underperformed, and critics panned it, cementing the idea that the franchise itself had been poisoned by tragedy. For fans, watching Heather, frail and visibly unwell during filming, felt eerie in hindsight. It was as though her death had been foreshadowed within the film itself, another unsettling coincidence that made the Poltergeist curse harder to dismiss. Of course, not everyone believes in the idea of a curse. Skeptics argue that tragedies are bound to occur when a film franchise spans years and involves dozens of cast and crew. Statistically, some people will die young, and others will face illness. Julian Beck's cancer, they point out, was diagnosed before he even took the role in Poltergeist 2. While Sampson's surgery was high risk from the beginning. Dominique Dunne's death, as horrifying as it was, stemmed from domestic violence rather than anything supernatural. Heather O'Rourke's death, though shocking, was a tragic medical misdiagnosis. To skeptics, these are coincidences made sensational by the fact that Poltergeist was itself a horror film. Had these same deaths happened on the set of a romantic comedy, they argue, no one would have thought twice. But logic doesn't stop legends. For horror fans, the Poltergeist curse has become one of cinema's most enduring ghost stories. Documentaries, TV specials, and countless articles have kept the story alive. Each Halloween, discussions resurface, and new fans discover the chilling tales for the first time. The imagery of Poltergeist, static-filled TVs, possessed toys, ghostly apparitions, combined with the real-world deaths creates an inescapable sense that the line between fiction and reality blurred. The fact that the story has persisted for over 40 years is a testament to its power. So, what really happened with the Poltergeist curse? Was it just bad luck, tragic coincidences amplified by tabloid headlines? Or did the filmmakers unwittingly disturb something darker when they decided to tell a story about restless spirits? The truth likely depends on what you believe. To some, the Poltergeist curse is an eerie coincidence wrapped in Hollywood mythmaking. To others, it's proof that when you play with themes of death and the supernatural, you risk inviting them into your life. More than 4 decades later, the Poltergeist films remain horror classics. But for many, it's the stories behind the scenes that haunt them more than anything that appeared on screen. The tragic deaths of Dominique Dunne and Heather O'Rourke, the eerie timing of Julian Beck and Will Sampson's passings, and the unsettling rumors of real skeletons have fused into one chilling legend. Whether you believe in curses or not, there's no denying that Poltergeist occupies a unique place in Hollywood history. It's not just a story about a family haunted by ghosts. It's become a story about a film haunted by its own shadow. And perhaps that's why the curse endures. Because deep down, we all wonder, what if the ghosts weren't just on the screen?